Every thought I carry with me before drifting off to sleep acts as a seed planted in the most fertile soil of my soul. What I choose to request in that moment possesses the power to shape not only the ensuing morning but the entire trajectory of my life. And it is here that I ask myself, am I willing to alter the path I tread? Am I truly prepared to converse with God so candidly that even the most insurmountable obstacles transform into open thoroughfares before me? When I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and lay my head upon the pillow, I know I have two options: to reiterate my fears and anxieties, or to surrender my voice to God in a manner few dare to. I speak not merely of what I aspire to achieve, but I also declare who I am resolved to be. This is the secret. I do not present myself before God as a feeble supplicant, but as a child acknowledging the divine inheritance already bestowed upon them. And in that instant something transpires within me. My mind aligns as if obeying a firm and clear command. I can, I will. I am worthy. The men and women who have achieved greatness never went to sleep entrusting their minds to chance. They understood that the last utterance before slumber dictates the tenor of tomorrow. Perhaps someone might interject, but not everyone believes in God. And this is true. Many millionaires and visionaries may not have held the same faith in the Creator as I do. Yet they still comprehended that a potent force resides in that nocturnal hour. Some termed it the subconscious, others energy, still others simply faith. But at their core, all were accessing the same reality: the power to commit their final thoughts to something unseen, something greater than themselves. And herein lies the distinction for those who believe. Trusting in God transcends the pursuit of personal success. It is the recognition that true victory originates from divine principles and unwavering fidelity to Him. Success in this context is not merely human merit, but a blessing that unveils a grander design. Scripture itself illustrates that genuine achievement lies in honoring God and transforming the world around us with what we have received from Him. And this is only attainable when an internal metamorphosis occurs, reflecting the very character of Christ. I contemplate the great inventors, the geniuses, the leaders who have left an indelible mark on humanity. All of them knew how to utilize that pre-sleep interval to sow order in the unseen realm. Some requested courage, others wisdom, others sought clarity, and the following day the universe seemed to conspire in their favor. There was no sorcery involved. It was alignment. They understood that if they concluded their day by requesting greatness, they would awaken prepared to embody it. And I ask myself, what am I speaking of before I sleep? Am I allowing fear, anxiety, and insecurity to be my final words? Or am I surrendering my heart and my desires to God, confident that He can open even the paths that the world insists on labeling as impossible? If I alter what I say before I sleep, I won't just be transforming my tomorrow. I'll be rewriting my entire destiny. But there's something I need to grasp once and for all. Many people spend years asking, praying, pleading, and when they see no results, they become discouraged, feeling as though God isn't listening. In reality, the issue isn't with asking. The mistake lies in how one asks. Most approach God like someone defeated, like a spiritual beggar imploring for a crumb. But God didn't call me to be a beggar. He called me to be a son. And a son doesn't beg. A son asks with confidence, knowing that his inheritance is already secured. If before sleeping I say, Lord, I can't, I'm weak, please help me, what am I sowing? A decree of weakness. I am programming the following day to reiterate the same limitation. Every thought that crosses my mind before sleep is akin to a seed cast upon the most fertile soil of my life. And what I choose to ask for in that moment possesses an unbelievable power to shape my tomorrow. I ask myself, am I truly ready to change the trajectory of my story? Am I prepared to converse with God in a way that will cause even the most impassable paths to open before me? It is at this juncture that the words I utter do not merely dissipate into the air. They traverse invisible barriers and reach dimensions my eyes have never beheld. So I envision it. I lay my head on the pillow, take a deep breath, and instead of repeating worries or making room for fear, I decide to open my heart to God in a manner few dare. I don't merely state what I wish to achieve, but I declare who I am determined to become. And herein lies the secret. I do not position myself as someone defeated, but as a son who recognizes his inheritance, and in that instant my mind aligns as if receiving a clear directive. I can, I will succeed, I am worthy. Great visionaries never retire for the night, leaving their minds to the whims of chance. They know that the final utterance of the day sets the tone for the subsequent morning. And perhaps someone might say, "But not everyone believes in God." That is true, yet many still acknowledge the existence of a force that can be directed in that very moment. Some call it the subconscious, others energy, still others faith in life. Fundamentally, all these are different attempts to articulate the same power, the capacity to entrust one's final thoughts to the unseen. However, there is something that gives me an advantage over those who do not believe. Believing in God connects my life to divine principles. True success stems not solely from human merit, but from the blessing that mirrors His plan and purpose. Scripture itself reveals that genuine success lies in honoring the Lord and transforming the world around me. This necessitates an internal transformation, one that causes me to reflect the character of Christ in every choice. Millionaires, inventors, geniuses, all learned to harness that moment before sleep, to plant directives in the unseen. One sought wisdom, another clarity, another courage, and many requested solutions that no one else perceived. And when dawn broke, life seemed to conspire in their favor. It wasn't magic, it was alignment. They understood that if they ended their day desiring greatness, they would awaken prepared to create it. And I ponder, what have I been speaking before I sleep? Have I allowed fear, anxiety, and worries to be my final words? Or have I emulated the visionaries, entrusting my heart and desires to God, confident that He can open even paths that appear insurmountable? If I alter what I utter before closing my eyes, I am not merely changing tomorrow. I am redesigning my entire destiny. However, before proceeding, I must grasp something essential. Many people spend their entire lives asking, praying, pleading, yet without witnessing any results. This breeds frustration and the sensation that God is not listening. But there is an invisible error, a subtle detail that has been hindering many for so long. The issue isn't the act of asking. The error lies in the manner of asking. The majority approach God as if defeated, like a spiritual beggar imploring for alms. But this is not why He called me. I am not a beggar. I am a son. And a son does not beg. A son asks with confidence, with the certainty of entitlement to his inheritance. If I go to bed saying, "Lord, I can't. I am weak. Please help me," without realizing it, I am issuing a decree of weakness for tomorrow. I am programming the subsequent day to replicate the same limitations. When I lie down and declare, "Lord, I know I am in your hands. I know the impossible is possible, and I am already thankful because I receive what I need," everything around me shifts. It's as if an order is launched into the universe, an order of power, of victory, of confidence. And at this juncture, I begin to comprehend the secret. Many do not achieve because they speak to God as if He were small, as if He needed to be persuaded. But the truth is, it's not God who needs convincing. It is my mind, my heart, that needs to be convinced, so that I can ascend to a level of faith where doors begin to open. The invisible error lies in assuming that asking is pleading, when in reality asking is aligning oneself with the certainty of having already received. And I ask myself, how have I been asking? As someone who fears not being heard, or as someone who already knows they have been heard? This is the divide that separates those who live awaiting miracles, that never materialize, from those who lay there, head on the pillow, and awaken to find life conspiring in their favor. Now that I understand this hidden error that paralyzes so many, I see that merely asking is insufficient. One must ask in a way that awakens within an unshakable confidence, a faith that transforms every word into a spiritual directive. Asking in the right way isn't about employing magic phrases or ready-made formulas. It's about aligning heart, mind, and faith in a unified tone. It's speaking with God as one who already perceives victory before it even manifests. It's offering thanks as if one has already received, even when one's eyes perceive nothing yet. When I retire for the night, I envision myself before God as a beloved child before their Father. I don't need to beg, nor do I need to diminish myself as if I possessed no worth. What I require is to declare with humility, yet also with confidence. I can say, "Lord, I know that you have already prepared paths I do not yet see. I know doors are opening even if they are not yet before me. I know the impossible is merely a stage upon which your hand moves." I do not commence by enumerating the burdens I carry. If I were to do so, I would merely amplify the weight of that which afflicts me. The initial step is different: to invoke His presence with gratitude, to give thanks even for that which has not yet transpired, to say, "Thank you, Lord, for I know you are with me. Thank you, because even without seeing, I already believe that paths are being forged." Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door of the impossible. Following that, it is essential to speak with clarity. I do not utter random words. I articulate with precision what I desire. If I seek prosperity, I declare, Lord, I receive from you the abundance that will allow me to bless others. If I require strength, I say, I receive from you courage, discipline, and determination to conquer each battle. Heaven does not respond to confusion. It responds to certainty. Another potent secret: ask as if you have already received. This is what transforms a simple prayer into a decree of power. I do not say, will I ever achieve this someday? I say, Lord, thank you, for you have already granted me what I need. I receive it and walk in this victory now. I then comprehend that I am not attempting to persuade God. I am convincing myself that He is already at work. And there is something even more profound: to speak not only with the lips but also with the heart. To feel the words as if they were tangible reality. To visualize myself already living that which I request. I have learned to never again say merely, someday, I want to. Instead, I declare with conviction, Lord, I receive the courage, wisdom, and prosperity to live the abundant life that has already been prepared for me. If I seek healing, I say, I receive complete health in my body and my mind. If what I desire is prosperity, I affirm, I receive from you the abundance that will enable me to bless the lives of others. And here lies the third step, the most powerful: to imagine as if one has already received. I envision myself crossing that threshold, holding that victory in my hands, living the reality I petitioned for. I feel the emotion as if it were real, because in the eyes of faith it already is. This is how a simple prayer becomes a key of power. It is in this manner that I plant in the unseen the seed that tomorrow will blossom. Many slumber through life without ever experiencing this, and as a consequence they awaken day after day, perpetuating the same cycle. However, if I choose to engage in this practice, I will be beckoning the impossible into my existence. And there is something I must reveal, a forgotten secret, concealed within the very core of faith. A secret capable of transforming a commonplace prayer into a genuine miracle. The majority of individuals navigate their lives without ever uncovering it. This is because prayer is not merely vocalization. It is about activating within oneself the profound certainty that it has already transpired. It is about aligning my mouth, my heart, and my mind towards a singular trajectory. Those who disregard this principle reduce prayer to mere words carried away by the wind. But those who embrace it transmute each utterance into a decree capable of influencing the unseen. Envision this with me. Someone enters a room, kneels, speaks with God, yet rises unchanged, burdened by the same weight, the same doubt, the same frailty. Such prayer yields no miracles, for the secret has been neglected. The verity is that conversing with God is not about outpouring fear, but about activating faith. It is not about reiterating my inability, but about proclaiming that victory already resides within my grasp. The great visionaries, those who appeared divinely guided, grasped this. They did not merely implore. They visualized, they felt, they declared. They petitioned as if they had already received. And this, precisely, is what demarcates an empty supplication from a prayer that yields tangible results. This is the forgotten secret. Prayer is not about persuading God. It is about persuading myself that He has already responded. When I enter this state, the impossible capitulates. Doors that were once sealed begin to creak open, and paths that seemed impassable become unraveled. Therefore, I no longer pray merely to release words. I pray to plant decrees. I pray to align my soul with God's divine plan. I pray to emerge renewed, not to emerge the same. This is the principle that transmutes prayer into miracle. And if I elect to live in this manner, I know my life will never again be the same. When I present myself before God, I do not commence by lamenting what is lacking. I begin by offering gratitude for that which I already possess and for that which is yet to come. I declare, Lord, I thank you for the life you have bestowed upon me. Thank you for even when I perceive no path forward, I know that you have already prepared the way. Thank you for while I rest, you labor in my behalf, and I perceive the difference. Gratitude unlatches God's heart and concurrently shapes my own heart to believe. Subsequently, I declare that which I desire, not as a distant possibility, but as a present reality. If I seek prosperity, I pray thus, Lord, I receive from your hands the prosperity necessary to live in abundance and be a channel of blessing in the lives of others. I already perceive this prosperity coming to me, and I thank you because I know it is real. If what I need is strength, I declare, Father, I have already received from you courage, discipline, and energy to face every challenge. Tomorrow, I will awaken with clarity, focus, and determination because this strength is already within me. And if it is health that I desire, I say, Lord, I receive full health in every part of my body, in every cell, in every breath. Thank you because healing is already manifesting within me. Do you perceive the pattern? This is not a faltering prayer. It is a prayer of certainty. It is presenting myself before God not as someone begging for crumbs, but as a beloved child who knows they have already received. And there is still an essential detail, speaking with emotion. I do not repeat cold words. I utter each phrase as someone who truly believes. I envision myself living what I ask for. The more vivid the image within me, the faster it becomes reality. This is the secret that transforms prayer into a miracle: gratitude, declaration, and emotion. Those who pray this way do not merely ask, they activate. And those who activate receive. And here lies something profound. When I pray in the right way, something begins to happen in the unseen, even if my eyes do not perceive it. When I declare with faith, it is as if my words were commands issued into the spiritual realm. I do not see it, but it is already happening. It is like a key slowly turning in a lock, with each word a turn. And when I finish the prayer, what seemed locked begins to open. Circumstances change, the right people cross my path. Opportunities appear where before there was only silence. But it is not only on the outside that everything transforms. Within me, a revolution begins. My mind awakens to ideas that were hidden. My heart fills with a new courage, my vision expands. I awaken the next day with a clarity I did not previously possess. This is not by chance. This is a consequence. It is the invisible manifestation of what I planted the night before with my words. Few grasp this detail. When I ask in the correct manner, the impossible already begins to yield before me. It is not that problems suddenly disappear, but rather that hidden solutions come to light. It is as if a veil were lifted from my eyes. I think of the great victors, the visionaries who seem to walk always accompanied by luck. But it was not luck. They simply knew how to align themselves with this invisible power. Some called it faith, others conviction, others creative energy. But at its core, it was the same force, the same one that is available to me now. Consequently, I will never again underestimate a prayer uttered with faith. I will never again assume my words are empty. In the unseen realm, every declaration is recorded, every gratitude is multiplied, every certainty transforms into an open path. When I pray in this manner, no wall remains standing, no door stays shut. This is the secret. While I sleep, God is already at work. And when I awaken, the impossible has already begun to shift. Therefore, I always remember, the first thought of the day is a direct continuation of the prayer I offered the previous night. If I wake up complaining, I nullify everything I planted the night before. But if I awaken with gratitude, declaring victory the moment I open my eyes, I reinforce the seed and accelerate the harvest. For this reason, I choose to remain steadfast no matter what transpires. I keep my mind strong and my heart fortified. I know that every word I utter throughout the day is like a brick in the construction of my future. Thus I guard what I say. I substitute complaint with gratitude. I exchange I cannot, for I have already received. I transform every difficulty into an opportunity to reaffirm my faith. This is the mindset that compels the impossible to yield before me, and I never forget. God does not respond to doubt. He responds to certainty. Miracles do not materialize by chance. They occur because someone resolved to believe until the very end. And if I maintain this stance, I know my life will be transformed before my very eyes. Now I want you to join me in an act of faith. Right below, my faith is alive. Declare it as a decree so that the universe, people, and even yourself will remember that from this day forward, your life will be irrevocably changed. If this message has resonated with your heart and rekindled your faith, please leave your like so that more individuals may receive this word. Subscribe to the channel, as I share messages daily that have the potential to alter destinies. Thank you for accompanying me to the end. It is an immense joy to know that people like you are committed to growing, evolving, and seeking true transformation. Be at peace, be with God, and until next time. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell.